speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spell out, let me hear you loud, proud. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues.
What do you really want? What they want?
And we are here tonight, and we're going to have a conversation that is going to be real. It's going to be authentic. It's going to be raw. It's unscripted. Nothing that we researched. It's about our community. It's about where we stand. It's about what's going on in our neighborhoods and our families. You know, over the weekend, there was a young man. They were at a party, to my understanding, a Halloween party, a celebration. It's time for, young people to have fun. It's that season. It's going at every holiday season, everybody having fun. But unfortunately, it turned out that this young man lost his life. Mm-hmm. Several others were injured by violence that has been plaguing our community for years, day after day, and many times. Now, oftentimes we talk about it, but now it's time for us to really find out what we can do to make these proper changes. A 17-year-old shouldn't have left his house just to have fun, not knowing that was his last day on earth. Mm-hmm. That's sad. And it affects us all in our community. Doc V, as you've heard students talk, how are students doing?
Well, obviously they're all handling it differently. Some are quiet, reserved, more reserved than normal. But some of them actually really need to talk about it. And then the scary part, some have insight, but they don't want to talk about that either.
That's crazy.
So, when they started to open up about it, then I said, let's not pass gossip or hearsay. And then it was like, no, I know this is a fact. And I'm thinking, this is not the place for it. So how do you handle that? How do you move forward in that?
Yeah. I'm going to come back to you, Jill, but I'm going to hit E. You have a 17-year-old son, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, this could have been your son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this could have been your household.
Well, I think about that every time I hear something out that these kids are getting murdered. One thing me personally, and I know as mom personally, it's to the point now we need to hold parents accountable. Period. Hands down, nothing else need to be said. Parents are not being held accountable. If my son were to get shot or hurt in that matter, me personally, I know I'm going to lose it. But at some point and at some juncture, I have to think, okay, what was he into that I didn't know about? Why was he into that I didn't know about? You have to start looking from within before you start looking from without.
I can get you on that.
And see, people don't do that. On the first thing they said, my son, they never did nothing. But like Easy said, he still got smoked at Bebe's party.
Yes.
So you never know what that child is into. Right. And being held accountable as a parent, now I need to dig.
I got you on that. But go ahead, Dr.
I was just going to say, since he did point the blame on the parents, did you say 100% or you said they're to blame?
No,
right?
I said parents need to be held accountable.
Yes. Held accountable. And I would say when he say that, I really have to lean toward agreeing with that to some degree, because where are the values taught?
Exactly.
At what age are the values taught? Right. And so that's one question that comes to mind, because sometimes parents are too busy. So it's like not really their fault, but it's their fault. You know what I mean? Because they got to work. Yeah. And some of them have to work 2-3 jobs to make things happen.
And I'm with you on that part.
And that conversation is going to get juicy because I got stuff.
I'm with you on that part, Dr. V. And it goes to the point where we too busy trying to chase that bag instead of chasing our child.
Right. I agree with you on that.
So
our priorities are all
we too busy want them to wear the Jordans and this, that, and the other, and we got to go work and do this, that, and the other so they can, versus making them understand I wanted the Jordans in high school. I wanted the Air Maxes in the high school. I wanted the sweatsuit in the high school. Guess what I did since I wanted that?
Went to work.
I went to work. As a matter of fact, I went to a place where I could get that on a discount. I worked at Foot Locker. So you have to understand now we so busy sitting back. Oh, I gotta make sure my son have this. Oh no, no. Make sure your son first and child first and understand you're not entitled to nothing.
Right.
Only way you're entitled to anything if you go work and get it.
Right. I agree with that. And Jill, as a parent,
Yes.
we're not going to discount you, but as a parent, this could have been your child because I heard there were children of all ages, ethnicities,
Right.
statures,
Right.
statures. It was just a mixed party. So as a parent, what are your views?
So, like he said, I would obviously lose it. I would be devastated. And I think, you want to say, I know what my child's doing. And back to, again, what you said, anytime something happens, you hear the parents say, my daughter's not into that. My son's not into that. But yet they were found with XYZ. We're not always going to know what our children are doing, but we need to know what they are doing. Like he said, you need to dig. You need to ask questions.
Right.
When I was younger, I couldn't even stay the night at a friend's house until my mother drove to the home and met the parents inside of the house.
Right.
That is what I'm used to. So I'm going to say, I had a daughter that wasn't really into, being super social and being at these parties. But we were talking earlier about, receiving that phone call. Half of these kids probably didn't even tell their parents where they were going.
Right.
Correct.
So just receiving that phone call, I can't fathom. I mean, I can't.
Right.
I simply cannot.
Well, and again, as Doc V said, you don't want to spread rumors or assume things or have conjecture about things, but there's been a word on the street that a parent or an adult rented a place for this party, and there was no adult present. Now, if that's the case, what E and Doc V, y'all was saying to Jill, the parents are being accountable. We can't be our children's friends. We can't allow our children or, give our children free reign. Why would you? I mean, what goes on. And I'm not saying that this happened, but I'm just saying if this is the case, as a parent, you know what the streets are about. You know
Yes.
what's going on.
Yes.
And you're going to send your child somewhere with no supervision, or you're going to let your child have something with no supervision. Yes, if that's the case, and I'm not saying it is, because I don't know. I don't know any of the people, but if that's the case, yes, those parents should be held accountable, because why would you leave those young children there unsupervised?
Right.
Knowing what could happen.
Yeah, something you could say that on one instance, and on the other instance you can't, because some of these kids, like you said, their parents don't even know they was gone. And being that the fact that, okay, even if I let my son win and I knew he was there, I'm already leery about it anyway.
Yes. Right.
At the juncture of it's being in a rented hall for one. There's no security for two.
Yeah.
And then the way that these young folks are acting today, it's crazy, because I could go down the street and get a gun, but I can't go. The government want to ban certain books.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
and you're right. But no, I'm not saying the general parents. I'm talking about whoever, if this was the case, that an adult and it was a house or Airbnb. I'm not sure. I'm just saying. So I'm not spreading rumors. I'm just saying if
You're
this
right.
is the case.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
that person or those people should be held accountable because they left those children unsupervised. Just that.
I just wanted to say, and you said it, because when you said a rental place, I also wanted to say, I think it was a home, but I wasn't for sure.
Yeah.
But either way, I wanted to bring to the front that parents having house parties and things like that, I don't believe this is the time for that. I think that it's time out for house parties, because when you have house parties, you actually invite strangers to
Into your
house.
home.
Yeah, the liability for
And,
that is massive, and you bring up something. So I talked to a few actually, gentlemen in the community, black men, and one of the gentlemen was he is the maintenance supervisor at Eden Green. We see a lot at Eden Green, things I've never seen, and one of the things he said, he talked about discipline, and I do have permission to read his statement to me, and he said this. The minute the government started coming into our homes and telling us how to raise our children is when this became an issue. The government gave us welfare. Now they're talking about a universal income because robots will start to take our jobs, but no one will have any money to purchase the goods that the robots are making. So universal income could come in the form of a chip, and just like welfare, they will be standing there in line to get it. So, you know, he talks about welfare being the issue. He talks about the government coming in and saying, we can't discipline our children. And you know what that reminds me of is most of us that are sitting here, if our mom or dad looked at us a certain way, that's all it took. When I was younger, there are things I wanted to do, of course, as a teenager, even as an adult. But I know morally it's incorrect. I know what the repercussions, and it feels like the youth these days, they don't care about the morality. They don't care about the consequences of their actions.
And now where does that come from?
Yeah.
When they don't care? I'm saying, and then you mentioned the government. And so, I'm going to blame the government, but I'm going to blame them beyond that, because when we look at why are they doing this? And a lot of times it leads, or it comes from drugs or, bad deals going wrong, etc. And I'm saying, so how they get all these drugs, etc. And that's another story. But at the end of the day, I'm saying what he says, I agree with that. Because a lot of the crime, I'm telling you, based off hearing the students talk, I'm going to say some of these incidents are petty.
Right.
But then when we start looking at homicide in general, compared last year's numbers compared to these numbers, and see how it's growing, and we still got a lot of year left. This is bigger than, watch this, than young people. Right. Because the number, watch this, the average age of the homicides this year has been like 36. Last year was 29. And so this house party, these were young teenagers, etc. So I'm saying, so we understand we have a problem, and it's a lot larger than the young people in our community. So what's really going on?
And I'm going to agree with on both of them, but I'm not going to totally place the blame. The government, yes, because of welfare. But here's the problem. We talking about, and you mentioned discipline in that statement. Here's where we have failed as a community. Here's where we have failed as a family, as a culture. Now, the discipline, yes. But here's what happened. There was a point in time, and I don't know when it hit our culture, that I decided that I don't want none of y'all to say nothing to my children. We talk about the village. We talk about the village. We preach about the tribe, but we don't believe, nor do we live that. We don't even prescribe to it. We'll talk a good game, but we don't do it, because I don't want you saying nothing to my children.
Yeah.
It is
not even if you're the teacher.
It's teachers, but it's not even outside
it's
people.
Family. It's
I done stopped
family.
grandma from discipline. I done stopped aunts. I done stopped uncles. I'm going to discipline my children how I want to, and then you don't discipline your children. They go unchecked. And again, y'all say, so I don't check my children. I don't want you to check my children. You could be a family member, or you could be a teacher. You bet not say nothing to my child. So your child goes unchecked. So your child has grown up to a behavior where they're not being checked. And you mentioned the fear and morality. It's like, if I see a child in the street, I should be able to yell at that child, or even to a point, snatch that child out the street and tell them, you might get hit by a car. Now, it's not the fact that the car was coming or anything. They don't have that fear that it's going to happen. A car may not ever come, but you keep yelling at that child, get out that street, because you're going to get hit by a car. They don't have that fear anymore.
That's or they wouldn't be in the street. Get ready to turn around and clap back at you for talking to them.
Literally.
Well, I mean, you're right, Clarence. There's no village at all. And when you try to establish a village, like you said, don't talk to my child. No, at the end of the day, you should want someone that actually outside the family to care for your child. Because it's one thing my mom used to tell me when I was growing up. Don't be out there acting up, because you don't know who I know. Right.
Yeah.
That's your name.
Somebody's going to tell on you.
That's my name you putting out there. I got you.
Yeah. So and nowadays, they don't even care. Because the parents don't have, is a lot. I'm not saying all parents, but it's parents that don't even have a good reputation for themselves to put out there. So if you don't have a good reputation to put out for yourself, guess what your child is going to follow? That same type of relationship that you have with everybody else, which is bad. Right. And then it's more of a like moral fiber is gone.
got
And we
Yes.
keep blaming the government. We keep blaming the
Yes.
government. We need to start blaming ourselves first and foremost. Because guess what? We want to rely on the government and then want to say, oh, well, the government said I can't do this.
Amen.
Screw the government, man. At the end of the day, guess what?
Right.
If I had to put my hands on my son to this day, I would do it.
You got to.
Because guess what? Either I'm going to do it or somebody out, the police or somebody out there going to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr.
I just want to say, I mean, so when we talk about blaming and et cetera, I'm saying if we want to get down to the nitty gritty and the root of what's going on, what is going on in our community? And I said it like Marvin Gaye, right? What's going on for real? But I'm talking about what is it? So it's the parents, it's the government.
It's all of it.
It's all
Bro,
of it.
I'm just saying, and then he said we got to hold ourselves accountable. How do we do that? Where do we fix this?
It's all of it. And the government, and I'm going to be actually, you can be transparent, you can be true, because it's been studied. How did drugs get in South Central LA? The CIA dropped it.
Right.
They were financing the Nicaraguan war. So they found a way, and they dropped drugs in the inner city,
Right.
and it started to grow in it. So yes, the government has some culpability in this.
That's what I'm saying. They have a hand in it.
Yeah, they created the problem. They
Yes.
created it. But as
And then
we
Yeah.
we started seeing our children, our things, because it was parents before our generation was that drug dealing generation. It was the late 80s, early 90s. That was our generation.
Yeah.
So our parents saw it. And it changed the complexity of our community, that more money was flowing in our community that had ever flowed into our community. And
is that the root? Is that the root
It's
cause?
part of it. It's part of it. It's part of it. We can't solve it
Just
all
saying,
right in
'cause
these
the
these
money,
minutes.
because
Yes.
money has a lot to do with it, right?
Yes. So the money and the thing. So parents start looking the other way because they are beginning to get more. Their rent is paid.
Yes.
Like Tupac said, it feels good putting money in your mailbox.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you're getting things. So a blind eye started to turn.
Yeah, of course.
But the government,
course.
they were still feeding it in there. Go ahead, Jill.
So, you talked about the village. So, Roderick Parker started, I saw on Facebook, I think it was like Sunday night maybe, and he said a calling to all men to meet at the school where, this all happened,
Northside, yeah.
to be there on Monday at Northside to greet these kids. So they were there. They had a pretty good turnout. They did the same thing today at Southside. So I talked to Roderick today, and one of the things he said, which is pretty deep, he said, I'm going to be very transparent. I said, please do. He said, right now we are dealing with a generation of soulless individuals. He also said that, and he asked me to mention this, the calling for all men, something that he stated is, he said, I believe we can stop the violence in our communities. But he mentioned when tragedy strikes, you have a lot of people who stand up. We're going to start doing this. We're going to do this. And it's real strong, real powerful. And a couple days after that, it fizzles out until the next tragedy happens. So something that Roderick said that he wants to keep going is keep this going. Regardless of what's happening in our communities, he wants to put a message out for all men, no matter how much you can put into it or whatever, to keep the momentum going. So that we can make change.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with that. But here's the problem with that: after the tragedies happen, it's way too late.
Yes.
It's way too late.
Yes.
We as men, you and I, we have blood on our hands, and I'm gonna tell you why. We saw a young brother going the wrong way. We decided that's just how he's gonna be. We gave up on him. We didn't reach back. And this is men in general. I'm just saying in general. Now we want to fix what has already been broken.
Yeah.
It's past time. We need to meet them at an early stage.
Proactive.
We're proactive.
Yeah, you need to be
we
proactive.
need,
Yes.
and I'm gonna say this, and for once, I'm gonna challenge you. I challenge we have teachers, pastors, social workers. We have all professions that have touched somebody. But pastors, we pray for them, but do we go out with them? You know what I'm saying?
Get
We'll
you.
keep them in the walls, but do we go out with them? Do we go out and change them? We'll hold them when we can hold them, but what are we doing when they leave our?
Yeah.
Are we staying in touch with them? And I know teachers is a hard job. I'm not blaming y'all, but you know you got that one student
Oh yeah, I
or
say
that
I'm going
you know
after
you
him.
got a port. You talk about Mr. Hogan. I know Mr. Hogan. I can talk about Mr. Cox.
I can talk about
Yeah.
him too. That's my guy.
People that you know they saw when I was messing up, and they didn't have a worry or care to pull me to the side, and you know, but we right now they gonna be who they gonna be.
Lip service.
Well,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know something, and I can say because I used to work in the White Park Youth Center, and I seen the same type of conversations, and we stuck with these kids. But at some point, we have to understand. Like with I'm just gonna say for me, I had somebody that was in my corner, and I tried to be in other people's corner, but sometimes it falls on deaf ears. Literally.
So you got tired.
I mean, it wears you down. It literally wears you down at times.
Trust me, I know it.
Oh,
As being
yeah.
a teacher,
Teach-
that's why I'm saying. So
it wears
got
you
tired.
down, and you fall into a self-preservation. I got my own child. I got my
Yep.
own kids, so I gotta make sure these are over here okay because these are mine. But you have to stay in the mindset of, I can honestly say, Kwaku, who used to run the Wise Park Youth Center. He made sure he stayed in them kids' lives.
Okay.
He made sure, even when things was going wrong in his own personal, he made sure. And we have to have that type of mentality and strength to say, okay, I got to fix home, but I got 17 boys over here that's lost.
Yeah,
And you know, I'm gonna switch gears just for a small bit.
you good. This is
If you
unscripted.
know
We can do it.
anything about what happened, throw the snitching rule out the window. Seriously, because you got it backwards. You got the snitching game backwards. So if you know anything, and I put it out, I'll say this: if I seen who shot Clarence in the head, and I just sit there and don't say anything, I'm part of the problem.
Yes.
Product.
That's
I agree,
right.
100%.
And
Versus me, I would stand up in the courtroom. Yeah, that dude that right
Yeah.
there did it. Won't care.
Yeah.
Because if you come and see me, I'm sorry for your look, but I would. If you call yourself that young brother's friend, and that's honest God truth, and I was his father, I would tell y'all straight out the gate: if you call yourself my son's friend, and you know anything about this,
that's right.
don't show up to his funeral with a
His
t-shirt
face
on
on
it.
with his face
Yes.
on it
Yes.
versus being at that courtroom and saying this is the person that did it. I'm just me. And
And
I can care less.
But you know what? But then I feel you, and I feel your passion, your anger, but the truth is, fear will paralyze you, and it will prevent you from saying things like that because the streets fight back, and so whoever those people are, these students already know. I've heard people are already positioning. This is what happens. Retaliation
yes.
is real.
I
People
saw
don't
that
care
too.
about what vengeance, it says vengeance is the Lord. People don't care about that. So even though I feel what you're saying, E, and yeah, there's a site. So it's not just Crime Stoppers. There's actually that P3 tips
The tip
app
line.
that you can call anonymously and get or leave tips, etc. You can call the police station, but you can even write a letter, a note. There's ways to drop a dime, right?
That's not
But the
dropping a
facts
dime.
are, but no, I'm just saying, I'm just speaking like the streets. I'm saying, but the facts are, people are afraid.
Yeah.
Period.
And that's a true fact. I talked to somebody who met with a prosecutor at one point in time, and they said one of the problems that they have is they can't get witnesses or reliable witnesses in our community, which I believe is half cock and half bull, but it does happen sometimes. But E is right. Doc V is right. But I want to go back to how do we fix it? You asked
How do
this
we
question.
fix it? But before you go into how do we fix it, put this question out there. Do you believe self-hatred has anything to do with
Ooh,
it?
you must have read my mind,
A
Doc V.
form of,
Yes.
of,
You
of,
must have read my
a
mind.
form
Yes.
of blind rage
Yes.
Yeah, you must have read my
within.
mind.
So
Well,
take-
two things. Go ahead. Jill, because you want to read
So I just wanted to, like I said, I reached out to people, but I also have my own thoughts on the subject. And when you bring that up, I personally feel, my opinion, that there is a lack of value for not just another life, but for the life of, for your own life. There's no love for your life. There's no, you would rather be known for killing somebody at the age of 14 and sit in prison because this is my legacy. This is what I'm known for. So the lack of value, I talk to kids every day that should be in school. They live where I work. The stuff that they say, the guns that they show me and they hold up, they are so engulfed in being that. They idolize the gold chains. They idolize all the stuff that doesn't matter. But what they do not value is their own life or the life of another.
All right.
So that's why it says self-hatred, blind rage. Where does it come
This
from?
conversation is about to take a hard, sharp left. It's about to get real.
Bring it.
Okay.
So plug your ears if you don't want to hear it. But Doc V, yes, you're right. Jill, you're right. The problem is the world will perpetuate every negative niggerism there is. And we'll take it. They'll give you every negative niggerism and make it glorified. They'll make it like that's how you're supposed to be. You said that self-hatred. We didn't took on. Now when we were niggers, it was harmful. But now when we niggas, we real niggas, we true niggas. The niggerisms have gotten out of control. And that's how it's perpetuated. You talk about the gold chains. I just saw Big Meech. If y'all don't know who he was, he was one of the BMF series. He was one of the biggest drug kingpins in the country. He did all kinds of stuff. He just got out and he in a halfway house. They got him getting his nails done, his hair braided, gold chains in a halfway house. They like, that's what I want to be.
Yes.
Our role models are niggas.
You're
The
absolutely
bottom
correct.
line niggas.
You're right.
That's our role model.
And the role model, not just for black people.
I'm, right.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I agree. And
And
I'm
I said
saying
niggerism. I'm not talking color.
exactly. And that's why I'm saying you're so right, because now you have white women, white men, all different cultures of people imitating some of those black rappers and etc.
So that's what I'm
talked
saying.
about.
So the perpetuation in the niggerisms has gotten out of control. We won't, and me and E was talking about this. If I'm Big Meech, my son come up just like me, I'm praising him. Oh, he like his dad. He getting it. He out there grinding. But LeBron James, there's never been a controversy about this young man. He's never had anything bad said about him. He set his son up for a position. We can find every negative aspect to talk about this man getting it. Niggerism. I can have as many kids as I want. I ain't got to take care of them. As long as I'm having kids, that's what. You out here spitting seeds everywhere and you're not taking care of them? You not putting nothing in them? You not giving them nothing to live for?
Right. I'm with you on that one, Clarence.
I'm just saying that. I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
but
don't apologize.
Don't be apologizing for being truthful.
But it's real.
I mean, at the end of the day, guess what? You're absolutely correct. If your child don't have a positive outlook in their life, in their presence, they're gonna fall into what they're seeing on a daily basis. And you're right, it is our fault as men. We are totally 100% at fault.
Why you say that, E?
Because guess what? We should have been standing up a long time ago. Screw everything.
Even when you didn't have a father figure?
You need to stand
You
up.
had somebody.
Okay.
You had somebody.
And that's what I'm trying to bring
teacher,
forth.
You
had somebody.
Not every black man is a negative black man.
Exactly. So
Somebody.
when you say, okay, so think about this. If love begots love, you know how you say that.
Right.
Gives birth to love. Hatred gives birth to
to
hatred.
hatred.
So I'm saying if there is evidence of self-hatred, which there is, because if I can shoot the person looking just like me,
Right.
or my daddy or my brother in the house, I don't just hate that person.
I hate myself.
I hate myself.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm saying, when I say, where did it come from? What caused it? What is the root of the problem?
That goes way back, Doc V. That goes way back. Think about it. What is it? And we did a show talking about Great America. And everybody talks about why is make America great again such a negative connotation and everything. When was it great and who was it great to is my question. For Black people, it was never great.
Yeah.
You can never, ever pinpoint a time and place that it was great for Black people. And I don't think it's going to get there anytime soon. But you're asking, in the fields, you know what they used to do? Why is a liquor store on every corner? Because they used to get us drunk as entertainment so we could fight in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Why is a liquor store on every corner? Because they want us drunk acting fools. They want us fighting in the fields.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Why didn't they want us to read? Because if we don't know, they can control us.
Do you know
We can be controlled.
studies say that the less educated you are, the less you value life?
Yes,
That's- you
exactly.
see what
Because the
I'm-
less you
Exactly.
know,
So
exactly.
you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want us to read. So if they don't want us to read, and they can, they poison out everything that we do, our mind and everything. I mean, it's control.
Yeah. And the make America Great Again. So I talked with somebody about this today, Raphael Martin, actually. And he told me, he said, do you know what that means? Do you really know what that means? And I said, I don't. Let's talk about it. He said what you're saying. He said, when was America great for a lot of people? But not all white people, but a lot of white people. When you say make America great again, America was great for them when Black people couldn't drink out of the same drinking fountain.
That's
America
true.
was great for them when Black people did the labor. That is what make America great again means for a lot of people, which is why they support that. And all of this I think of that Sims game where you can take the characters and do what you want. All of this was intentional. Dating back, we could go back and back and back. All of this is absolutely intentional. But when you are told your whole life or see on TV or see everything around you that you are a thug, you will not be anything, you're already behind, you're a gangster, you're this and that, your uncle hands you a gun when you're 12, what do you expect the outcome
Well,
to be?
hold on. I'm finna that last part because in white America, they handing their kids rifles to
At
go
7 or
hunt
8.
To go hunting, absolutely.
at 7 or 8.
They're training them to kill.
They training them to kill. And to go back to making America great, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. We already know America's never been great.
Right.
Period. So to go back to saying we as men, we messed up America, our community, because the simple fact, when I make it out,
I don't go back.
I don't come
Yeah.
back.
Reach back.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's powerful because if I don't see another brother that went through the same thing I went through, and that brother is successful, and he's like, man, good, I ain't going back over there because I made it out. No.
Yeah.
We have to go back in and actually let's build
Yeah.
where we came from.
And show that and be that role model
Yeah.
instead of these rappers and everything else, because that's what we need to see.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to that. Where you said where does it come from, and we can even bring it modern day. There's no precipitation of a positive Black on TV anymore.
Mm-mm.
There's no precipitations of Black in a lot of the.
So
music.
do we shut off the TVs? We turn off the music? I mean, what do we do? If we speaking to the parents right now, new parents, how do we help them? What can we do about what's going on? Sharon Tucker,
Right.
Mayor Sharon Tucker said we have to pray if we expect Fort Wayne to be better.
Okay, and I'm agree with that.
And
But
everybody is praying. Everybody's saying that.
Hold on.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I know where you're gonna go with it. If everybody on their knees praying, who's doing some work?
That's what I'm saying. So everybody's praying.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's
work.
and
I'm
that's
not saying
key.
it's not working.
It's
so
not
I
working,
don't wanna
but-
say that.
I'm not saying prayer not working.
What else can we do?
They say faith
while
without
we're
work is
praying?
what?
Dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Prayer.
if everybody's praying, when do we stop praying and say, okay, let's work for what we prayed on?
And
Well, you
and
remember Mary and Martha? No, okay.
but I know what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with I do believe in you pray, but you pray also for answers.
Yes.
But when
Yes.
you give and when you got answers, like he said, do you take the mantle or do you pass it on to
Yes.
somebody?
Question,
you-
what are you praying for?
Right. What do you
Yeah.
pray for? But I'm saying if you get
We've
that
been
answer,
praying for some soldiers to rise up.
Well,
And
OMB.
I like how you were saying that we need to be accountable, and you were speaking to the men in
Right.
the room.
And I'm going to say this.
And I want to know, what does that look like?
What does that look like? And again, OMV is having a men's worship. Thursday
Iron
and
sharpen
Friday.
iron.
Iron sharpen iron. But we can't just live those words. Speak those words. We have to live those words. Now, once we leave, if you go to that, if you're a man, once you leave that iron sharpen iron, that means you got stronger. You got something that'll make you better.
Yes.
Don't take it and keep it to yourself. Don't just go home. I mean, get out in the street. That's the problem. We're not in the streets anymore. We're not out actually walking because we're too scared to walk in our own neighborhoods. That's a
But
shame.
you know what? But what's
That's
really
a
a
shame.
shame is, and I'm glad you said that, because some of the comments that people are saying is, wow. They keep saying south, southeast, southern, blah, blah, blah. This is not
No, this is
isolated.
not.
I'm just saying, this is not isolated crime.
Because this crime
shootings.
didn't happen on the southeast side of town.
Exactly. And I'm just saying, so the violence, period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is definitely
no.
not.
There's no
just on
place
the south
immune
side.
to it.
And we don't know where these people lived, to say that they might not even. So what I'm saying is, I'm saying community wide. I'm saying as a city. It's not just in Fort
Citywide.
Wayne. You look at
Yes.
Chicago. You look like
Absolutely.
at
Right.
Detroit,
It's
Atlanta.
everywhere.
It's
It's
everywhere.
everywhere.
And it's in the community.
Yeah.
It's in a
And-
basic.
and that's why I'm saying, and even the mass shootings. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying, when I'm saying what's going
But
on, there's a
let
lot
me hit
going
y'all
on.
something before we leave. And this is a true question. And it's going to take a hard right, too. Now, do you think if young black men, started killing any other race, that it would be taken this lightly?
No.
It wouldn't.
No.
Seriously, and it's going to take niggas killing niggas don't matter to nobody.
Right.
Niggas
But
killing
why don't
niggas.
it matter to us?
And see,
that's what
I was about to
we
go
were
there.
getting there. That
I
was
was
right
on my
there.
way because my question is,
Should they even care?
my question
Why
is
don't we
this:
care?
when my I don't want to disrespect him, the guy that got killed by the police.
Lenzel?
When Lenzel got killed by the police, everybody wanted to march.
Yes.
Yes.
This young brother got killed by somebody else
Crickets.
or some other people. Why we not marching and standing up right now for him?
Because the life is the life.
Why
The
we
life
not?
is the life.
My question is, why we not walking downtown and saying,
Enough.
peace, peace, peace. Enough is enough. No, we too busy we too scared to say anything. When, like I said, you cannot at this point. We can't be scared anymore. We got to stand up and say, okay, we don't. Wait, Ms. Tucker, what can we do
Yeah.
to help solve this situation?
Yeah.
And I
E,
just asked the question. If we ask the question, then are we ready?
I'm ready.
I'm saying,
But-
do
but-
we have our
but-
hours and things set aside to say that I have to do this and I need to be there? Too many times we
But-
say it, and that's
but-
why I say it's lip service.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
And-
why even in the Bible, when Jesus said, I never knew you. You know the part when it says, I cast out this in your name, and then guys will say, yeah, I never even knew you.
you not.
And that's kind of how this is.
Yeah.
When we talking and we keep giving lip service and we're
Yes.
going to do this and we're going to do that, we need to be there. And then 2 months from now, somebody call you, you tired, you got to work in the morning, you got something to do.
That's our problem.
Yeah.
That's our
That's our
problem.
It fizzles out.
It
fizzles
doesn't
out.
matter to us. And when it becomes real to us, and I'm gonna agree with you, Doc V. But I don't think we need to march downtown.
We need to march in our own hood.
We walk up
No,
Calhoun.
we just
We walk
don't
up
even need to-
Ruderson. No, I'm not
don't
saying
even
march.
march.
I'm not saying march in that sense. What I'm saying is we need to be active. We need to be visible. We need to be working. And that's when I say march. We need to be, I said, we're afraid to walk in our own neighborhoods. We need to walk in our neighborhoods. We need to talk to people. We need to reach out. We need to be active in our community.
But when you take away one thing, are we putting things in place that our young people need? Things that's going to draw them in, free classes, educational classes, and computer and technology, whatever. Are we offering things to our young people? Because you mentioned proactive. What does that look like? How do we become proactive? Like they, trying to get the Cooper, is it the Cooper Teen
Yes,
Center?
Cooper Center.
Trying to get that back,
Right.
doing what it needs to do and offer all these different classes and
And
stuff.
I am
And I'm
going to agree
saying,
with you.
we have to get behind those positive things that come in our community. But so when you say proactive and you're talking about men and how y'all drop the ball and what y'all need to do, all I'm saying is, what can we do? And I'm talking about to the people that may be listening that is saying, tell me what I need to do. What are we saying to them?
Wait, and a man I talk to every time, he uses this word, and it's a powerful word, and it's an effect that is coming in its time. It's really working. He always says you have to galvanize your resources. That means bring together. That means now the problem is we don't like to sit down and plan. We get out and we do something, and then it failed because we didn't plan. What does it say? If you don't,
Plan to fail, you fail to plan.
Yes, yes. I want to say it. So that's the problem. But see, here's the thing. Now, if my idea works, I'm not saying your idea doesn't work. The problem is we need to learn how to talk to each other, work with each other,
Yes.
and not talk to
And
or
stand
against
for
each
each
other.
other.
Stand for each other. Now, like I say, there's an organization, and this will not be there, but I've seen it from the fruition, OMV, and they are having all of these things pulled together and bringing us together. But the problem is we still have some people pulling away
Yes.
because, it's not what they want.
Right.
Now, their name is not on it. They're not, it's enough pie out here for
Forget
everybody
about
to
the
do
name
something.
being on it.
But that's the
Put
problem.
your face on
Put
it.
your face on it. I'm with that.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
with-
too, we've got all of these organizations doing these things, but the problem is because I'm around the children or teens that we're discussing, I'm around them all day long. So are you. Many of us are. And I'm telling you right now, these kids that I'm around, they're not coming to those events. We need to go to the kids.
And
They're
that's what I
not
said.
going to come
We
to these
gotta-
events.
we gotta be in the neighborhood.
They got no interest in going to these things that we're having because their mind is completely elsewhere. We need to go out and do the go-see method
But
to the kids.
and then you mentioned like the Ewell Wilson Center, the Cupertine Center, things like that.
Yeah.
We need to take that babysitting component out of that because
Absolutely.
a lot of I'm
That's why I
serious.
said insert
Yeah,
classes,
yeah.
training,
we
technical
got to take the
classes, whatever
babysitting
it is.
component out of that. It's not a daycare. We can, the things that that's missing in the schools, the like home ec, the general things,
Right.
the natural survival, learning a skill. Yes, we need to put those back in there. Take the babysitting component out of it. They ain't just got to go there, shoot pool, play games and things like that. Put something in there that's going to be valuable, and that's why I say. It's too big, and the problem is, and Doc V, you right. We can sit and discuss it all night. We can be here all night.
Right, because
where's the
there's
action?
so because like I said, there's the young side, and then y'all do know like even let's just say that one of the shootings. I don't want to just call people out, but those weren't kids.
No, those weren't kids.
And I'm just saying Glenbrook Mall shootings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were
Those
not kids.
Those were not kids.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying when we look at this, and if we go black on black crime, that's one thing. So the black male, period. What is going on? And that sounds like episode.
Yeah, and
Number coming up.
I think where you talk about that. Why do we hate? Why do we hate each other?
we hate
but
ourselves.
and I believe in bearing arms, but why are guns so easy?
Yeah.
How can these teenagers?
How did they come up with?
How do they get these
adults?
guns? Why
Yeah.
is guns so easy?
It's like I just said it earlier. The government will ban a book that they don't want a child to read that's in school, but there's assault rifles that's out here on the streets. They won't even attempt to ban
Right,
or
'cause,
attempt to,
yeah.
because the simple fact you got lobbyists. Oh, they have the right to bear arms. Well, guess what? That child have the right to read that book.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. But look, we gonna have to talk about this again. But I am going to say this before we get out of here, and I said it really. The main thing is parents, don't let nobody tell you can't be a parent. If you got to discipline your child, discipline your child. But also, don't be afraid of your child. Know what's in your house. Know what's in your house.
Absolutely.
And what's in that phone?
Know what's in that
Absolutely.
phone. But that's their privacy. No, it's not.
No.
Know what's in your
Kids
house.
don't have that kind of privacy.
Know what's in your house. And then know your kids' whereabouts. My mama used to know everywhere I
Yeah.
go. And this is before cell phones.
Right, exactly.
My
But-
mama knew
yeah.
everything I did because, like I say, the village people could tell. So know what your kids are doing. But a lot of times we don't have time for it because I'm still young and I'm a parent, so I'm gonna live my life, let my kids live their life, and But know what your kids are doing.
Because technology out here now. Because
Right.
you can put a tracking device. I hate to say it, but you can. They have tracking device. They got cameras,
Yeah.
ring thing. You got everything
Yeah.
going on.
There's really no
That-
excuse to
that's
not
what
know.
I'm saying. Not nowadays.
But then let somebody, if you are deficient in any realm of your parenting, let somebody help you.
Yes.
Be open.
Yeah.
be understood it.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't you guys think, man, that you're up against systemic systems?
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about that thing, and when she asks you what the solution is, then you would have to be intelligent enough to sit down and develop things that would combat
Mm-hmm.
the systems that have been put in place to get you where you are.
Yes.
Right.
So when you talk about that ONV organization that you have, that's galvanizing people to come together that truly care about your community. So what is the objective of this hour Hit Your Voice?
Okay. Now the question is, because I don't think you can hear on where it is. He said, "Are we battling systems that are put in place to allow and facilitate a lot of this is going on?" And Doc
course.
V asked the question, "Well, how do we combat it? What systems do you have to combat some of these systems?" And I spoke about ONV and galvanizing this. So what are they doing? What are they doing to make a difference? Education is the first thing they're talking about. Educating the people, changing mindsets. See, that's the hardest thing, but you got to work at it. Change a mindset of a people to give a people different aspects, a different look at something. Just because it's been this way all this time doesn't mean it has to stay this way. You have to change a mindset. You have to work together. You have to, like I say, you have to come together with plans. You have to have ideas, because the ONV has 5 pillars. They talk about things that plague our community, which is education, finances, health,
Spiritual.
mental, spiritual, and then the sports. And I'm gonna get and they all work together. You can't get one. And see, the thing is, we'll separate things and think that that's gonna fix it, but they all need to be solidified.
Yes.
Because,
Under one roof.
Coming together like the fivefold ministry.
Yeah, fivefold ministry. Because if you tie everything together, if we just take sports out of it, we put spiritual, health, education, and finances together, those are the 4 biggest problems in our community.
Yes.
So we have to change those mindsets, change those things. You have to offer, like you say, you got to offer something. Like if it's skill trades, if it's jobs, and this is what ONV is doing. They have a lot of things coming. Like even to the fact of education, they're looking to down the road and soon have a school, and be able to train facilities, do all of this. So to bring things in and stop talking, but to put things in place that have combat these systems, you have to have that. You have to have a fail-safe, Doc V, But as I said, ONV is a great organization, but we need people.
Right. Right.
That's what I was
We
going to
need
say. So
people.
what do the people need to do to help
don't just
ONV
need-
or
yes,
what?
Yeah, ONV or somebody that's working with ONV. You just need to be active.
Yes.
You
We
know-
need the unit. A unit
Well,
is
a unit.
powerful.
We need to bridge the gap, because there's a lot of organizations in this community that's doing the same thing,
A lot.
and everybody wants to have their own identity. You can have your own identity even when you bridge that gap.
Right.
I mean, you might have a program that we trying to put together. Hey, can we come alongside you and learn how to do this whole same program and work? Let's work with each other, not against each other.
That's right.
I mean, bottom line, don't say my program better than yours. Nah,
Yeah.
our program, your program can be our program.
Because right now nothing's working.
Yeah,
So
nothing
it's
working
just
when you work.
being real.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah, and truthfully, we talk about government officials and things like that. Mayor Sherrod Tucker, city council people. I'm not just saying. I'm saying city council. I only say Mayor Sherrod Tucker because we only got one mayor. But everybody on the city council, everybody in the state house, everybody. We need to matter. First of all, we need to matter to ourselves,
Yes.
and that's the one thing.
Foremost, yes.
First, we got to matter to ourselves. We got to take pride in who we are. We got to work to be a better us. We got whatever it takes for us to be better. We have to do that. We got to stop believing some of these things that we can't do, that we are not, that it's not meant for us. We got to stop believing that nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen.
We got to.
Amen.
We got to start working. We got to put our feet back to the ground. We got to put our hearts back into our community. We got to put love back in the community. We have to get back into the community.
Yeah. There's
And
a
I'm-
fight to be fought.
I'm asking every teacher, every preacher, every pastor, every social worker, everybody that's in our community, that work in our community, to work for our community. We've been here a long time. Before we leave the people, what do we say?
Always protect your mind.
A podcast by Neutral Voices Media
Count
Group,
your opinions important, so you
NVMG.
gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not, let me hear you loud, proud. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues.
Where the people